fast. They're going to push the tempo. And I think in a lot of ways, whichever team is able to control the tempo is going to have success tonight.
Well, points will not be a problem. The Raging Cajuns, 83 points a game. Georgia State puts up in the mid-70s. Defense, rebounding will win this game. Which team wants to do it? Which team can do it?
It's a blackout tonight, so the Black Unis for Louisiana, and Cedric Russell starts things out with a triple.
Bob Marlin told us a shoot-around. Cedric Russell would be the X factor for this team tonight.
Shot clock issue that we're dealing with, so we'll restart play in just a moment. Right now it's showing 0.
Louisiana over 20 wins. Just think about it. He won 27 games last year in college basketball. Tremendous, and he did an awesome job when he was at Sam Houston State.
Yeah, 27-7 last season, 16-2 in the Sun Belt.
And he came from the junior college ranks, Pensacola Junior College, where he was winning games in the high 20s and low 30s.
Now Georgia State, its first offensive possession, and Mitchell, the turnaround jumper, is good.
We talked about him in the open. 47% from 3, but he can also nail that pull-up jump shot. Big gun for Ron Hunter.
Devin Mitchell, one of a handful of impact transfers for this Georgia State team, started his career at Alabama. Now Marcus Stroman drives into the paint and goes up. But he stepped on the baseline out of bounds, and it's a turnover to Georgia State.
Stroman best off the bounce. Looks like that left foot. Yeah, he stepped on the red line. Good call by the official. Stroman, the transfer from South Carolina.
Now DeMarcus Simons adding it off. Simons, one of the best players in the Sun Belt Conference. Drive and kick into the corner. There's a 3-try off target from Nelson Phillips, getting his first start of the year.
That's a big part of the offensive concept for Georgia State, driving kick.
And now off the steal, here comes Jeff Thomas, who puts it in off glass.
2 points, Jeff Thomas.
What a beautiful fast break. The ball hardly touched the floor. The pass so much faster than the bounce. Louisiana has to go against this matchup zone for Georgia State.
That'll work. Jakeenan Gant with his first basket of the game. The senior from Springfield, Georgia, who leads the teams in points, rebounds, and blocks.
Scores it at 54% overall, 36 from 3. Loves the post-up game and the face-up.
Simons tries to answer with a 3. The rebound comes to Miller. And now Hardy for Louisiana. Puts up a 3 from the wing, knocks it down.
They just play so loose on offense with so much confidence. Bob Marlin told us today, shoot-around, look, we're probably going to hit our number, our average, 83 points a game. We got to make some stops. And somebody in this game, whether it's us or Georgia State, has to rebound. Each team not so good on the glass. Negative in the rebounding margin column.
Well, Louisiana hitting its 3s early. They've hit all 3 of their tries. Now down to 4 seconds to shoot for Georgia State. Here's Malik Ben-Levy. The fadeaway jumper never got to the rim.
And that was great defense by Gant. You know, he's 6'8" with a 7-foot wingspan.
Stroman's pass tipped but kept by Hardy. Comes outside the 3-point line and misses this time. The rebound to Simons. Well, you definitely know they want the 3 when he stepped outside to take it. And on the other end, it's Phillips for the lay-in.
I think everybody missed a double dribble there by Simons up the floor.
Nelson Phillips, the freshman from Warner Robins, Georgia. And now Stroman inside the alley-oop to Gant. Jakeenan Gant with 5 early points for Louisiana. This is the kind of start that the Raging Cajuns have been looking for. Now a turnover by Phillips and a foul on Georgia State. Big start for the Raging Cajuns tonight here in Lafayette.
Marcus Stroman.
State and Louisiana, and come for the numbers that Paul's about to give you. Stay for the drawings that you're about to see. What are the things you like and don't like with this Georgia State team?
Well, for Georgia State, okay, I like this, and I don't like that. I don't like that face. I love the way they shoot the three and block, okay? But when it comes to bad, Georgia State, they don't get any rebounds. 340 in the nation. And only 64% from the free throw line. Look, if you're going to have close games, you're going to have to make your free throws. Teams are going to play the foul game against you and you have a lead. The free throws are going to be crucial as they move forward here in conference play. And now for the Raging Cajuns. What's good about them? 83 points a game. They also force up to 16 turnovers a game, which is outstanding. But what's bad, they give up 83 points a game. You don't want that number to be even. And their defensive field goal percentage is at almost 47. That's bad, that's good.
No smiles for them, though?
No smiles, just arrows for the Raging Cajuns.
Yeah, the Georgia State frown face was a little crooked to the side.
Yeah,
there.
he had a crooked nose like the guys in Boston, you know?
Great start for Louisiana. 13-6 lead, knocking down the threes here early. They've made 3 out of 4. And now here's Kane Williams, and that's knocked away by Gant. And now a long three try for Russell. That's off target. Second opportunity, and it's Miller to lay it in.
Miller's a wide body. He loves to do the dirty work inside. 6'6". 250.
Last year, Justin Miller, the primary backup to Bryce Washington, and this year has been both coming off the bench and starting, and he's been effective in both roles for Bob Marlin. Here's Mitchell driving the paint in a beautiful move to lay it in.
Mitchell's so hard to play against because he's an excellent three-point shooter. You go over screens, you get up on him to take away the shot, beats you off the drive.
They go inside to Miller, puts it up with a left hand, no, and the rebound comes down to Simons.
So much talent on this floor and athletes.
And now Mitchell a three, that's off target.
Just watching him right in front of me. I mean, just to see the athleticism, the size across the board, the ball skills, very impressive.
They go to the wing. Hardy off on that three out of bounds. It'll be Georgia State basketball. Look at the start here, too, and Louisiana certainly thrown the first punch. One thing that they'll tell you with Georgia State is that the Panthers are often a team that gets off to a slow start, but they start to kick it into high gear 8 to 10 minutes in. So I think this next stretch could be a big one for the Panthers.
When you look at the numbers for the season for Georgia State, they're a good first half team, but they're a better second half team. They put points up on the board in the second half.
Damon Wilson now into the game as Jeff Thomas gets a rest. Ben Levy lost the handle going inside.
It's part of those 16 turnovers Louisiana forces. They also get 7 steals per game.
That Gant pass was tipped out of bounds, so it'll stay with the Raging Cajuns.
You know, speaking about their athleticism, each team, you look at the numbers. Georgia State, they get 7.5 steals per game. Louisiana, they get over 7.5 steals per game. Each team has quick feet, active hands. They anticipate well, and they have great length across the board. There's not very many little guys in this game.
Definitely not. These two teams, two of the most talented in their state. Georgia State has really established itself as the team of Georgia over the last few years. As Miller knocks down that jumper. And on the other side, the Raging Cajuns have had a ton of success there in the state of Louisiana over the last 5 years.
Georgia State beat Alabama this season, and they beat Georgia.
2 Power 5 wins.
Great wins for Georgia State.
Absolutely.
Wesley is first. Cajuns first and a half.
Miller finding that little opening against the matchup. You get it in the middle, it flattens it out. No defense, he took that shot.
Here's Simons driving the paint. A strong move to the bucket.
And that's where he's so good, Simons. The ability to rip it, go. 80% of his points come inside the arc.
DeMarcus Simons drew a lot of interest from NBA scouts a year ago, decided to come back. And I think he's going to be a very desired player coming out. There's a three try from Mitchell. That's off target. Gant there for the rebound.
Simons still has a lot of work to do for the next level. A great college player. Doesn't make shots, and his decision-making still needs to get much better.
And now Russell has that shot blocked. But Louisiana keeps with Miller.
Great pass.
And now Russell misses the jumper. Couple of good looks.
The ball moves in this game, doesn't it, Jordan?
Oh, and so does Simons. What a move.
The ball moves. The players move.
DeMarcus Simons now 4 early points.
This is fun to watch.
Simons is the preseason Sun Belt Player of the Year after winning Sun Belt Player of the Year a season ago. And now a foul coming as we go to another timeout and a 5-point Louisiana lead.
DeMarcus Simons, 6th best in the Sun Belt in scoring.
Whether it's winning the regular season or the postseason title, Georgia State trying to make it 3 trips in 5 years to the NCAA tournament under that man, Ron Hunter, who has done an outstanding job.
These two teams have been the class of the Sun Belt. This year, Texas State right on top of the league. Excellent defensive team. They have a chance to change those dynamics.
They sure do. But Georgia State picked to win this conference again because when you looked at them coming into the season, they were returning 4 out of 5 starters. This is mostly the same team that went to the NCAA tournament last year with the exception of Jordan Session moving on. And in the non-conference season, you saw them beat those 2 Power 5s, as we mentioned, the wins over Georgia and Alabama. 9 non-conference wins for this team. Now Jordan Tyson the miss underneath.
And Georgia State 3-2 on the road this year. That shows me battle-tested team, as you mentioned. A lot of points coming back. When you can win on the road or have a winning record on the road, you have a real chance to make some noise in your conference tournament.
Absolutely. Now a foul called underneath.
Foul on number 2, Malik Ben-Levy.
The Malik Ben-Levy's second personal on Ben-Levy is Jakeenan Gant. Will go to the free throw line. And against Louisiana teams, Georgia State has had a lot of success since rejoining the Sun Belt. They've won 14 out of their last 20 against those teams. Saturday, we have the top 3 teams in the nation on ESPN. Number 1, Tennessee won a school record 17 straight. We'll square off with Florida at 4 Eastern. Then Zion, RJ, and number 2, Duke, taking on number 3, Virginia in a Sonic blockbuster. Both games also streaming live on the ESPN app. That first game between Duke and Virginia is such a good one. And in matchup number 2, I have a feeling, because you told me about 20 minutes ago, that you're going the other way on this matchup tomorrow.
I'm going with the home team. When you look at the numbers, and that's what I like to look at first, Virginia leads the nation in fewest mistakes. They only turn it over 9 per game. Duke really thrives off of turnovers. They run off of turnovers. They run off of misses and steals. They even run off of makes. We know how talented that freshman class is. But I think UVA's pack line defense and the ability not to turn it over will be able to set that defense. And I think Virginia's going to come out on top.
Should be a great matchup. That first one was awesome to watch.
It really was. And Duke's so exciting. I mean, 7.5 blocks per game. 3rd in the nation in steals. They really guard you. They really guard you well, and they switch well. Virginia's got to do a better job in this game of reading that switch. They didn't do such a good job at Cameron against the switch. But we have Jay Billis and Seth Greenberg and Game Day to tell us about that.
They'll break it all down for sure. And now a near turnover, but stepping out of bounds is Wilson, and will go right back to Louisiana.
And don't forget Jay Williams. I mean, that guy could beat a switch any day of the week.
He absolutely could.
The other 2 guys can't.
Ron Hunter hoping that his team can get the right read on the switch on defense here.
It's a matchup zone. It's not a straight zone. It's not man-to-man. It's a combination. A little bit of switching going on and talking. We'll describe it as the game goes on.
Here's Simons over 2 defenders. No, but Malik Benlevy right there to lay it in.
And that's a downside of Louisiana. They just are not good on the glass. They're minus almost 3 rebounds in margin. No block out that time. Miller was just watching it off the glass. If they could just clean up the defensive glass, could really improve their defensive numbers.
Stroman underneath, puts it in and one.
But my goodness, are the Raging Cajuns exciting on offense. Penetration by Hardy. Great pass.
Checking in for the Cajuns.
He knew exactly where Stroman was going to be. Anytime you drive the baseline, you look at the opposite corner or you look for that drop-off pass right at the rim. Stroman with the strong finish.
And Stroman is 71% free throw shooter. This is a team that really shoots the ball well from the line, almost 75%.
And that's huge. I mean, we know why free throws are so important. You don't want to leave points on the board in any game, but especially in conference action down the stretch. And Georgia State not very good from the line. They were that unhappy face that I made at 64%.
Yes, the crooked unhappy face. And that goes high off glass and in for Kane Williams.
I mean, just think about it. If somebody has a big lead, if Georgia State has a big lead, somebody's going to start fouling them. They're going to play the foul game with about 3 or 4 minutes, and you don't want to let that cost you a game.
Stroman, good pass underneath, and it leads to a lay-in. Jarekus Davis.
Well, Bob Marlin talked today, you've got to beat that matchup zone behind it and in the middle, and so far they're doing that in the first half. Nice backdoor cut. Great look by Stroman.
Williams, the jump step into the lane, and draws a foul.
See Stroman right there in the middle. You see a cut right behind the defense. All eyes are on the ball. And there's a backdoor cut by Davis.
Kane Williams at the free throw line and misses the first. Well, this week's NBA Saturday primetime game is a clash between 2 of the league's best and most exciting players. Russell Westbrook leads OKC against James Harden and the Rockets. Our coverage tips with NBA Countdown at 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific on ABC. You can always watch on the ESPN app. NBA Saturday primetime presented by HyperX Gaming.
They should have those 2 guys play like one-on-one before the game or something, or at halftime.
Right.
Wouldn't you love to see that, seriously?
And James Harden's got, what, 8 straight games at 30-plus points, so he doesn't really need anyone else out there with him, does he? I think if he went 1-on-5, he could score 100.
Maybe they should do that at the All-Star game. Have like a one-on-one contest. The fans would line up to see it.
I would like that. That would be fun. Simons called for the foul. And now Jarekus Davis will go to the line.
Louisiana doing a great job of getting it to the middle and then behind that matchup zone. Georgia State, how do you combat that? Pressure the ball a little bit more when it gets to the middle, and then you have to drop back. If you don't have the ball, you have to flatten out. Anytime the ball gets to the middle of the zone, the rest of the matchup zone has to fall back and protect the rim.
Jarekus Davis, 4 early points. The junior from Jackson, Mississippi.
Great spacing by Georgia State. You see the whole paint is open. 4 to 5 guys behind the arc, moving, cutting, and screening.
Team's 4th.
Bob Marlin's got to be pretty happy with the way that his team is defended here early. The opponents are scoring 83 points per game against his team. That's been the biggest issue for the Raging Cajuns, but so far they've looked pretty good defensively.
Yeah, the effort's been there. They're in their stance. They're moving on the dribble and on the pass. Good communication in ball screens. They're talking.
And there goes Simons. Easy basket. Hard to stop him.
It is, but Stroman has the body to do so. He's got to hold his ground. P.J. Hardy, they can do that. There's the middle again.
And Davis traveled. Louisiana offensively has the edge on Georgia State. Marcus
Puts it on the floor, he picks it up, stop. Now they have 3 on the ball, and they lose sight, and that gives the layup. Lack of communication caused a layup, and that's how you beat a matchup zone. You cut behind it.
off the miss now. We'll see if Louisiana can solve that matchup zone yet again. Hardy goes inside. Miller tried to get it inside for Gant, but went off his fingertips and out of bounds. Now the officials talking it over, and they will clarify that it is Georgia State basketball.
Miller's doing a good job in the middle, and his teammates are doing a great job of finding him. He's got to get it, turn, face, and then slow down. He doesn't have to rush it. That's what the matchup wants you to do. They want you to make a quick decision in the middle.
There's Simons, a three from the wing, off target. Stroman there to pull it down.
Simons just under 30% from three on the season.
And now Gant, a strong move inside on Josh Linder, and draws the foul on the sophomore.
Foul on number 20, Josh Linder, is first.
Jakeenan Gant,
Team 7 at the line.
so important to what Louisiana wants to do offensively. Already 6 early points.
You love his versatility, the ability to face up and knock down the three-point shot. He's legit behind the arc. He gets deep post position. His game draws fouls. He blocks shots. He's #1 in the Sun Belt in block shots. Good rebounder, 8.5 a game, second in the conference. He's the epitome of versatility.
Yeah, 3rd in scoring, 2nd in rebounding, 5th in the country in block shots, and leads the Sun Belt.
One time a former ESPN top 100 player out of high school.
You know something about that.
I think I put a number next to his name at one time.
That's right.
Nice switch.
Down to 3 to shoot. Ball loose on the floor. Linder's got it, but they're going to call the shot clock violation.
Turnover.
Well, give Justin Miller a lot of credit for that defensive possession. They had a good switch. Georgia State had a back cut. Ball got deflected.
Checking in for the Panthers.
Miller put his hands on it. The shot clock violated. Excellent defensive possession by the Raging Cajuns. They are great with steals and turning you over, but that time they were a combination of steals and solid.
And now Hardy for 3. Off target. Rebound comes to Mitchell. And Mitchell lost the handle and turns it over.
Cajuns ball.
Devin Mitchell, the preseason 2nd team All-Sun Belt selection, the transfer from Alabama. Missed the first 7 games this season with a knee injury, but since he's been back, one of the senior leaders for Georgia State. And that layup will fall. Marcus Stroman now with 5 points.
Well, that's his game. He puts it on the floor. He loves to drive right, loves to get to the rim. If he can't finish, he'll kick it out.
Kane Williams has that one erased by Gant.
What a block by Gant.
Hardy trying to turn it into points and draws the foul.
Marcus Stroman, little hesitation move. Nice finish with the inside hand. And on the defensive end, Gant just waits on it. Big time rejection. And I love the way he rejects it. Then he runs the floor, straight lines, rim to rim.
Man, we've seen everything from Jakeenan Gant so far. The shot blocking ability, he's got 2 of those and 7 points.
At the line for the Cajuns,
Hardy at the free throw line. He's fun to watch, Gant, isn't he?
Big time fun to watch. And you watch this team, Jordan, and you wonder how they've lost 3 in a row, and they've given up an average of 100 points per game in those 3 losses.
Yeah, you mentioned they played against Georgia Southern on Wednesday, lost 103-86. The previous game they lost to Coastal Carolina, gave up 96 in that game.
Like an NBA team.
Yep.
But they can score like one too.
Yeah, they sure can. And now a traveling violation.
Tyson. In for the Cajuns, number 0, Cedric Russell.
Well, I've been impressed with their activity defensively, their alertness, and their communication. A lot of that has to do with being home. You're just more comfortable, you're more confident. And I think the team feels that their back is against the wall just a little bit. Not only did they lose, but you know, they lost in a fashion that just wasn't pretty, giving up 100 points on average.
Well, we know that this team has a ton of offensive talent. Going into this season, they thought that one of their key players was going to be Malik Marquetti, the senior transfer from USC. And as Gant knocks that one down, Marquetti is out for the year, and his career is going to be over with Louisiana. Tore his ACL. So you think about if he was out there, along with all these offensive players, this would be even better of a team.
It'd be a better defensive team.
Yeah. And off that miss, back the other way comes Mitchell. Inside Gant, and he's fouled. Gant was going up the elevator shaft on that one, but he's fouled by Tyson.
Well, the almost lob catch dunk. I think Stroman had to throw it up just a little higher. But he threw it to a spot where Gant could get it and get fouled. You know, when Bob Marlin won all those games at Sam Houston State, I remember watching his teams play. They were so tough and so solid and so stingy defensively. So the defense will come back for Louisiana.
So a technical foul has been called on Devin Mitchell.
At the line for the Cajuns, number 23 for 2 shots to Keenan Gant.
First foul against Mitchell. But the technical called with Louisiana already with a lead that's growing now. As Saturday we'll have UFC 234 from Rod Laver Arena in Melbourne. The home crowd will be behind Aussie middleweight champion Robert Whitaker as he takes on Kelvin Gastelum in the main event. That starts at 10 Eastern, 7 Pacific on pay-per-view. ESPN and ESPN Deportes will have preliminary fights. Then that's starting at 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific. To order the main event, you go to ESPN.com. Whitaker and Gastelum.
You gotta love ESPN Plus.
Isn't it the best?
You can watch anything you want when it comes to sports. I love the detail by Kobe Bryant and Peyton Manning. That's awesome.
Those are great. And then for college basketball guys like us who watch basically every game in the country. PJ Hardy picks up his second personal foul.
Number 12, Kane Williams.
A 15-point lead for Louisiana here at home against the top team in this conference in Georgia State. There's Jeff Thomas into the paint drawing a foul.
Great action by Georgia State.
Number 15, PJ Hardy.
Nice tight curl. Thomas right to the rim. I love the way Georgia State, they're not settling for jumpers. Look at that tight curl. He's got the defender behind him. He's got a path. He took advantage. You know, sometimes when you're on the road and the crowd and the home defense can really get into you, sometimes you just settle, start taking bad shots or three-point shots. Not Georgia State. Too well coached, too disciplined on offense, and too talented. So what they do is they run stuff to get action to the rim.
Off the miss, Georgia State keeps.
Nice.
And now Ben Levy for 3. Misses, but in there for the rebound is Phillips, and he lost it. Wesley ahead of the pack. Can't lay it in, and Thomas comes down with it. And that last sequence, too, P.J. Hardy now out of the game with 3 fouls. So Trajan Wesley in. That could prove costly later on. And this time it is Phillips.
Well, that's the downside of Louisiana defensively. Not just their field goal percentage defense, as we showed earlier, is not great, but They don't get that second shot off the glass, and it can hurt them. It can hurt them big time because you give a team life that's down.
Five to shoot now for Louisiana. It's Gant.
With the basket to Keenan Gant.
Keenan Gant with 11.
Just because he's a big guy doesn't mean you play off him at the arc.
Here's Simons on the drive. No with the left hand.
Georgia State's missed some layups at the rim. Thomas missed one earlier, and now Simons.
Stroman can't finish underneath, and Phillips will run it out.
You got to make those point-blank layups, even if there's a little contact. There you go.
Williams fouled on the way in. Been a good first half for Keenan Gant.
Well, he's got a face-up game. That's a long two. He's made it through.
Is made at Avery Island. It's about 45 minutes away from here, and so far, I'd say the Raging Cajuns are providing the hot sauce.
They're providing the sauce, all right. How about my Uber driver? Said, what part of Louisiana are you from? So I looked at him and I said, the northeast side of Louisiana. I was thinking of the northeast part of the United States.
Yeah, yeah.
Just the fact that he thought I was from here.
That was nice of him to think that.
Might have thought I was my cousin Vinny or something. I don't know.
Did you wear the red velvet suit? I think you should have broken that one out tonight. Off the turnover, here is Cedric Russell, who picks it up for Louisiana.
Oh, great defense.
But it results in a turnover. 10 seconds called on the Raging Cajuns. And Sean Farnham will preview tomorrow's showdown between number 2 Duke and number 3 Virginia. Plus, we'll have first half highlights and stats from our game, all coming up on the E-Trade halftime report.
Cuff and Farnham, huh? Breaking down UVA.
It's a big-time team right there, and there is an offensive foul.
12, Kane Williams. His first.
Kane Williams picks up his first.
He just puts his left shoulder right into the defender. Wesley moving his feet. That is great individual defense. In his stance, moving his feet, beats him to the spot. Kind of like Sean Farnham. That's the way he used to play defense. That's what he used to tell me.
Did he would tell you?
I can't.
And also what he would do.
I can't confirm it, though. He'll have to confirm it at the half.
Stroman will inbound here for Louisiana.
See, the ball moves, cutters. That's how you beat the matchup.
Russell beats the matchup with a 3.
And then they screened it in at the very end. Cedric Russell, a weapon from the outside.
15-point lead for Louisiana. Simons misses the second chance, no.
It doesn't matter what defense you play, zone, matchup, or man. You have to have ball pressure. There's no ball pressure from this matchup zone tonight. I don't see it on the ball hard. Now, maybe they're in gaps and they're being told to stay off the ball. That's fine. Then you got to get your hands up. You have to take away vision. There you go.
8 seconds to shoot. Miller. And the rebound comes to Thomas. Just about a minute to go here in the first half at the Cajun Dome. And Phillips draws the foul.
Number 5,
Trajan Wesley will pick up his second personal.
His second, team's 9th.
The last Louisiana 3. See how they screen in the zone and they curl? They got that wide open shot. But that was after some ball reversal. Excellent execution by Louisiana. That's Bob Marlin working on that today at shoot-around. Moving the ball, getting it to the middle, swinging it, screening, and then curling.
Nelson Phillips knocks down the free throw. Big-time recruit for Ron Hunter's team. Was the 5th best prospect in the state of Georgia.
Georgia State now 2-2-1. Going to see if they can turn over a speed-up Louisiana. Last minute.
Russell off on that 3 try. And now an offensive foul underneath. We'll give it to Justin Miller.
Justin Miller. His second, team's 10th.
Second on the junior as Bob Marlin looks on.
At the line for 2 shots for the
Louisiana
Panthers,
shooting
number 15,
48% from the
Tyson.
field. Georgia State 0 from the 3-point line, 50% from the free throw line. They have a chance here to get it to 11.
Tyson the miss at the line.
If they can get it to 10 by the half, I'm feeling good if I'm Ron Hunter.
Yeah, when you think about 0 for 7 from 3, that's obviously uncharacteristic. This is a Georgia State team that shoots almost 39% from beyond the arc. Tyson misses both.
There's that free throw shooting we talked about earlier. 64% as a team. Really makes you cringe as a coach. Nice traps.
And now Simons called for the foul.
Foul on number 15.
Number
DeMarcus
2
Simons.
on DeMarcus Simons.
His second.
And I think you got to get him out of the game right now. You don't want him to get a 3rd cheap
At the line
foul.
for 2 shots for the Cajuns,
Nice trap.
number 5.
Simons was
Christian
late
Wesley.
on that rotation and just bumped him enough right in front of the official. But you got to get him out.
Checking for the
Trajan
Panthers,
Wesley,
number
his
24,
first
Devin
point of the
Mitchell,
game,
number
coming
2,
at the line.
And Levy. In for the Cajuns, number 11, Jerry
Louisiana
Davis.
certainly has come out playing the way that they wanted to, really from the get-go. They got off to a great start, Paul, and since then they've just continued to build on that lead.
Well, the offense has been there all season long. They average 83 points a game. They're on pace for that. Their defense has been impressive.
So what's Ron Hunter trying to talk about with this? Great success with multiple programs, obviously taking his team to the NCAA tournament twice in the last 4 years, trying to make it 3 and 5 if they can get it done this year. He's changed the culture at Georgia State.
He's changed the perception of Georgia State basketball. 5 postseason appearances, 147 wins in his tenure. See if they can get a bucket for him.
6 seconds left in the half. Williams driving and draws the foul.
It's exactly what we just talked about. Take it to the rim. See if you can get the 3-point play. Try to create a foul. Try to get a layup. Let's be aggressive with
At the line
this.
for 2 shots for the Panthers.
The spin
number 12,
back.
Kane Williams.
Got the foul.
Ron Hunter's so impressed with Kane Williams and the way that he's developed along just a sophomore last year. A big part of that Georgia State team that went to the NCAA tournament. 6th in the Sun Belt in assists. Was mentored by former Georgia State guard Isaiah Williams, and they really feel like Kane can be a very special player for this program. 13-point game. 2 seconds left in the half, and now another foul with 1.5.
Foul on number 11, Jarekus Davis.
Jarekus Davis will be called for the foul. And now Phillips will go to the line to try to cut into this deficit even more.
2 shots for the Panthers.
Nobody
number
to
10,
help
Nelson
out.
Phillips.
And Georgia State in an urgent mode with the trap, the anticipation. Double bonus, they get 2 attempts here. See, that's where you want to be clean if you're Louisiana. Know that you're going to get pressed. Get the press offensive spots. Don't try to dribble against traps and pressure. Pass out, push ahead.
So Phillips now with 8 first-half points. And that will bring us to the end of the half. They want a foul call, but there will not be one. And that brings us to the end of the first half. Louisiana with an 11-point lead at home on the Georgia State. Not their night, but you feel like that number is going to start to come up.
That number's going to balance out. They're too good of a shooting team. I don't like 1 assist with 10 field goals. That doesn't make me happy. And then the free throw shooting, we've mentioned it ad nauseum. but they're only 62%. There's a lot to clean up if you're Ron Hunter.
You want to be able to get the good smile emojis from Paul. You don't want any of the crooked frowns.
You don't want the guys with the crooked noses. That's the key.
Devin Mitchell on the drive, and that's a good start for Georgia State.
Well, Georgia State's been taking it to the rack. That hasn't been the problem. It's been the three-point shooting and the lack of assist. And I'll tell you what, that matchup zone, I know Ron Hunter coaches it as well as anyone in the country. It wasn't active. It didn't have pressure on the ball. It already looks better to start the second half.
And now a foul coming up away from the ball.
Number 24, Devin Mitchell.
Devin Mitchell picking up his second personal. If you're Ron Hunter, you probably are telling your team that in the second half against a team in Louisiana that has struggled on the defensive end, that they can make a run and make it quickly.
Exactly. You're bringing up what the other team isn't good at, and obviously Louisiana has struggled defensively, but they've been good in this game so far.
Down to 3 seconds to shoot. In the corner, a three try off target from Stroman.
See, I think that's what Georgia State could do some damage is on the glass.
And there's Simons with the drive to the bucket.
I mean, he took that coast to coast off the defensive rebound. He can be such a good rebounding guard coming down. That was a great example.
That was a step on the sideline out of bounds and a turnover to Georgia State.
Well, Simon rips this one right off the glass, right by the elbow. 1, 2, 3, 4, right to the rim in a straight line. The attack and the fight has been there by Georgia State, just not the skill of the outside shooting.
Louisiana this season 11-0 when they lead at halftime. Georgia State just 1-5 when they trailed at the break. See if either of those trends change tonight. And Simon left wide open for a three and knocks it down.
Marcus Stroman got hung up on a screen and he didn't pursue.
And all of a sudden now it's a 4-point game.
Number 15.
Watch 35 in the black. He hangs on that screen coming off. We'll see it right here. See Stroman? 7 straight points for Georgia State.
And now they trail by just 4. Louisiana has dominated for a lot of this game, but here comes Georgia State, 7 straight points, and we said it, they can get it back quickly.
When we talk about Louisiana being such a good offensive team, Georgia State, they average 76 points a game, and they shoot a 47% field goal percentage. It's top 50 in the nation.
Hardy off the miss. Now Miller, no. Ball loose on the floor. Who's got it? Possession arrow will favor Louisiana.
Well, that's the fight both coaches want to see from their players. I mean, this game has tremendous meaning. If Louisiana can get the win, they push themselves up in the standings, closer to Georgia State, Texas State. Georgia State can get it, then they can keep pace with Texas State up top. Everybody wants the buys when it comes to conference tournament.
And there's so many good teams in this Sun Belt this year, and it's evidenced by how close the standings are.
And Coastal Carolina's been one of the hottest teams in the conference. They've won 5 straight.
Kane Williams knocks down the long jumper, foot on the line, that's 2. 9 points now for Williams, but yeah, look at Texas Arlington right there at 7-3 as well. They've had a great year. And so those 3 teams tied at the top, and then you've got Georgia Southern and Coastal Carolina. Look at how close everybody is. Even if you're at the bottom, you're really not that far from the top. Here's Stroman off the miss.
I mean, February is truly separation time in college basketball. January was the grind. Now we're in separation time.
Ben Levy short on the 3.
Out of bounds, Cajuns ball.
This stretch, the last 6 games, 8 games, as we move towards the end of the season, it's going to be a lot of fun to see who comes out of this with so many teams right there. 3 teams tied at the top right now. There's Gant from the baseline. No. The rebound, Mitchell.
Let's see what Georgia State can get in the half court now. They've gotten some in transition.
Simons, another three.
Well, when he makes that shot, his game is different and this team is different. Less than 30% behind the arc. Tremendous inside the arc. Off the bounce, at the rim. He elevates this team if he can make threes.
And now Georgia State into the lead. 12-0 run by the Panthers.
And that defense of Louisiana that we saw in the first half, not as tough, not as stingy to start the second half.
Russell misses a three. Louisiana needed that.
Russell made the first three to start the game. Right, that's what he does best. He makes threes.
And there's Ben Levy for the dunk. Nice feed inside from Mitchell. Malik Ben Levy extending this Georgia State run.
Just a simple ball screen on the right side, but there was no help side defense.
Stroman on the drive, and a foul will be called, and it brings us to a timeout, and Georgia State has the lead.
DeMarcus Simons getting hot. And this pass, help defender comes over, he sinks down, doesn't happen. Georgia State with a layup. That's the defense that's hurt Louisiana in the last 3 games and basically all season long.
Kane Williams on the drive, got in too deep.
Low man has to come over and help. Top man has to sink down.
And now Louisiana just trying to stop the bleeding. They have not scored yet in the second half. Here's a three from Hardy. That's off target. And it comes down in the arms of Georgia State's Ben Levy.
They may need a tourniquet to stop this bleeding.
Here is Simons. Another three for DeMarcus Simons. He's hit 3 in the second half.
And I said that jokingly, but I can see it in the eyes of the Georgia State players. The confidence right now, especially DeMarcus Simons from 3. That's scary.
Here's Russell. There's a 3, and it stops the run. A 17-0 run thwarted with that 3 from Russell.
And that's such an important shot that Russell hit. The first basket in the second half for Louisiana came at the right time. They got to get some help side defense if they're going to get beat.
Ben Levy, no on the 3. The rebound, Hardy. Stroman on the drive. Marcus Stroman now with 7.
Well, sometimes he's charge prone because he goes rim 75% of the time, but that time he saw the gap, found his way.
Louisiana's now scored on back-to-back possessions, their first 2 buckets since there was 1:52 left in the first half.
Stroman in his 3rd. Team 2nd. And for the Panthers, number 10,
DeMarcus Simons is feeling it. Between the legs, the step back. Look at that reaction. He knows he's hot, and his teammates know it too.
DeMarcus Simons had 18 on Wednesday against Louisiana Monroe, at a season-high 29 against Georgia Southern a couple of games ago. Tonight was 17. Tried to make it 20, but misses that time from 3, and it's out of bounds off of Justin Miller.
Yeah, that ball goes off of Miller's hand.
And now Simons, the spin and the layup.
DeMarcus Simons.
That's why so many people say that DeMarcus Simons is the best offensive player in the Sun Belt. I mean, he is playing right now with great offensive confidence.
He had 6 points at halftime. Now he's got 19. And there's a 3 from P.J. Hardy.
Well, the Raging Cajuns at home are putting up points. They got to start making some stops.
Into the paint. Phillips tried to get the foul and gets a late whistle. They get Justin Miller.
Number 55, Justin Miller, his third.
Saturday, we have the top 3 teams in the nation on ESPN. Number 1, Tennessee's won a school record 17 straight. They'll square off with Florida at 4 Eastern. Then Zion Williamson, R.J. Barrett. Number 2, Duke, taking on number 3, Virginia in a Sonic blockbuster. Both games also streaming live on the ESPN app.
Tennessee so tough defensively to score against. And Florida's been struggling from the outside, but they have some weapons. Kayvon Allen can get hot. Florida can get in that game. I like that last call. I thought Phillips took it strong to the basket. Thought it was the right call. That's the one thing about Georgia State. They take some threes, and they're an excellent three-point shooting team, top 20 in the nation from 3. But they do a great job of attacking the basket.
Now they have the 1-point lead. Here's Hardy on the wing, misses the 3. One rebounded Jeremy Hayes. And Louisiana will have a fresh 30 to work with. Simon's going to be called for the foul. And DeMarcus Simons is going to pick up number 4, I believe. That's a big foul on Simons, and it brings us to a tie on his phone and was going crazy just at the thought of what Georgia State could do. Since he's been in this program, he has been the heart and soul of the team. And Ron Hunter said as much before the game, so much so that he would even love if Malik Benlevy, when he graduates at the end of this year, comes back to the program as an assistant coach because he's so valuable to the program. They don't want to lose him.
He also has a chance to play after Georgia State overseas. So the question is, will Ron Hunter pay him the same amount of money to coach as he would get paid overseas to play? Now, that's a great compliment from Coach Hunter, to want your players to come back. Sometimes when you've had a guy for 4 years, it's time for them to go and for you to leave them. But that's the ultimate compliment. This is a team player, career high 25 against Tulane, 41% three-point shooter with a high IQ.
Yeah, Benlevy, 4 points, 4 rebounds tonight, but is so valuable to what they do. And Ron Hunter, so complimentary of his senior. And now a foul on Benlevy.
But Benlevy moved on that flat ball screen they set in the outside lane. They call that the alley. It's a flat ball screen. You see him 2 in the blue. Yeah, he moved right into the defender. Good call by the official.
Here's Miller. They kick to the corner. Russell, a 3 try. And what a rebound from Phillips. Now Phillips the drive. And the kick to Mitchell. Wide open. Buries the 3.
Scouting report defense. The best three-point shooter on the team and one of the best three-point shooters in the nation. You got to stay connected to Mitchell.
Devin Mitchell now with 9 in the game. And there's a block. Phillips again with those long arms redirecting the shot. And now driving on Hardy, but a double dribble is called.
Check in for the Cajuns, number 35, Marcus Stroman.
He just got ahead of himself that time. Nice strip, though, by Phillips. That's a block. The defense much more active in the second half for Georgia State. The other thing they're doing in this matchup zone is when guys are cutting, now you're starting to see defenders in the blue go with the cutter. They don't just stand in spots. They go with cutters. They've been more active here in the second half. They take the shape of whatever offense you're running.
And there's Gant underneath. Rather Miller, he's got 6. Justin Miller and Jakeenan Gant have been providing the buckets on the interior tonight for Louisiana. Mitchell on the drive, lays it in.
So smooth. When you crowd him, because he's such a good three-point shooter, he gets nice and low on the drive.
Here's Jakeenan Gant, and he gets the friendly roll for 3.
The hot sauce by Jakeenan Gant.
Yeah, a little Tabasco on the front of the rim. Mitchell from deep again.
3 points, Devin Mitchell.
Boy, Devin Mitchell putting on a show now over the last few minutes. Georgia State now with a 4-point lead. Gant answers right back.
Gant 6'8", shot it right over Mitchell, 6'4". You love his size on the inside, but that size is such a factor at the three-point line to see over defenders.
This is that high-scoring back-and-forth game that we were expecting going into tonight, and Mitchell drives in and draws the foul.
Devin Mitchell's been on fire. And Gant has been answering. Nice drop back. Little step back by Gant. See, Stroman gets into the lane and just drops it behind. He sucks in the help.
Number 24, Devin Mitchell.
And Gant created a little bit more space for himself with that jab step.
And for Georgia State on the offensive end, Paul, here's Devin Mitchell, who has carried Georgia State offensively with Simons on the bench with 4 fouls.
Damon Wilson. In for the Cajuns,
upperclassman
Trajan Wesley.
Feels the urgency of senior year. He knows what's at stake. He knows that they're in the back 9 of conference play. And he has the ability to do it. Certainly has the stroke.
1 out of 2 at the line.
Devin Mitchell made 98 threes last year. That's the second most in school history.
Stroman on the drive, can't finish underneath. Miller's pass.
Great hands.
Pinballs out to Gant. And to the shot clock, they turn it over. Numbers for Georgia State. Phillips rocks the rim.
2 points, Nelson Phillips.
Well, Phillips has been a catalyst in the second half for Georgia State.
Virginia wins games, they just prevent you from scoring. It's really amazing to see those numbers, isn't it?
It is. They control the tempo with their defense and the offense. For me, the game within the game is how will Virginia handle the switching of Duke? And how does Duke handle that pack line defense? Those young players, are they going to be able to score over the top of that on the road?
And now a push. And a foul coming up. They'll get Damon Wilson on this one.
Yeah, he reaches there, got away with it. And then he just rides him out of bounds. Could have called one in the back. You could have called 2 fouls on Damon Wilson.
Yeah.
The transfer from Pittsburgh. A lot of transfers between each team here. That's how you make a living at the mid-major level.
Find some really talented players that way. Russell on the miss, and now Jakeenan Gant had his hand up there, and it just floated off his fingers into the basket.
Sometimes when you go to the offensive glass, you don't know if you're going to get it, but you have no chance if you don't try. And Gant was playing volleyball at the rim.
Williams to the corner. Phillips for 3. Nelson
3
Phillips.
points, Nelson Phillips.
The freshman is having a big game tonight.
6'4", 175, long and athletic.
Bucket and a foul.
Count the basket. Foul on number 12,
Kane Williams will be called for the foul, and now Trajan Wesley with a much-needed basket for Louisiana.
Wesley just took it strong, cradled it.
And for the Panthers,
He just put his body right into Williams. I mean, that was a strong, hard, straight line drive. And unless you're going to stand there and just take it on the chest, there has to be a foul.
So Wesley, the freshman from Navasota, Texas,
Checking in for the Cajuns, number 11, Jerikas Davis.
4 points off the bench tonight. Jerikas Davis comes back in for Louisiana. Wesley completes the three-point play.
Wesley comes from a winning culture. His high school team, Texas, went 66-7 last 2 years with a state title.
And now the steal. Wesley, foul on the way up. Mitchell will pick up the foul. But Trajan Wesley making the big impact.
Great anticipation. Game of basketball and continue to play at the college level. Go through adversity. You know about his focus. You know about his responsibility. That's the type of guy you want in your locker room and on the court.
Absolutely. They were checking to see if it was a common foul or an intentional foul. They ruled a common foul. And so now Wesley knocks down the free throw. Trajan Wesley's dad was his coach growing up, and so was exposed to competitive basketball at an early age. And when they lost Trajan's mother at 32, his dad stepped back from coaching, was working as an administrator so that he could take care of Trajan and his brother. Good for Trajan Wesley that he's getting this opportunity now in Louisiana.
And great for him and his dad with all the sacrifice.
Absolutely. Wesley will pull it back out under 6 minutes to go, all knotted at 64.
Game's tied. Wesley had it. That was a smart move to bring it back out. One of the best offensive teams in the country, Louisiana. Get a good shot.
5 to shoot. In the corner, 3 is good from Russell.
Tell you what, a lot of freshmen would have panicked with that ball on the baseline. Trajan Wesley did the smart, mature thing and brought it out.
Mitchell the drive and the lay-in. Devin Mitchell now with 17, back to a 1-point game. And so much more. Sign up now to start your free 7-day trial of ESPN Plus by downloading the ESPN app or visiting ESPN.com. DeMarcus Simons back into the game with 4 fouls.
And he just has to be so smart in this matchup zone. You know, 1 foul puts him on the bench. Doesn't matter. Louisiana scores buckets. Simons has to stay on the floor.
Right, they need the buckets from Simons on the offensive end.
You still got to play defense without committing a foul. That takes discipline, it really does. But at the end of the possession, no matter what, don't put yourself in a position like you did on the baseline for the referee to make a call. And he came around on that baseline side in front of us. I don't think it was the right call, but he put himself in a position for the referee to make the call.
1-1.
Now Jakeenan Gant at the free throw line, 21 points tonight, or 23 I should say, and misses the free throw.
Let's see if Louisiana can lock in defensively and finish this game off at home. This team has given up an average of 100 points in each of the last 3 games.
And now a whistle before the shot.
And they're playing one of the best teams in the Sun Belt and a very good offensive team at Georgia State. And they're doing an excellent job defensively in this game.
Jakeenan Gant now with 3 fouls. Something to watch for down the stretch here is the foul issues. We mentioned Simons with 4, but Gant with 3 now.
Georgia State They've had some of that Tabasco sauce in the second half. They've been hot.
Sure have. Kane Williams fouled on the way in, and if they give that to Gant, that's number 4. And it is.
See, that's another example of knowing when to foul, knowing how many fouls you have. 4 minutes to go.
The line for 2 shots for the Panthers.
He's late on the help. He could have come over and took a charge. He elected to go for the block. If that's going to be the case, just go straight up. I mean, he's an excellent shot blocker. He leads the Sun Belt Conference in block shots, but go straight up, challenge it, but don't pick up a cheap foul.
Now both of the stars on each side playing with 4 fouls.
It's been a chess match between Ron Hunter and Bobby Marlin. Guys that built IUPUI and Sam Houston State.
Gant falling to the ground, finds a way to put it in.
When you can win at those programs at a high level, you can win almost anywhere.
And they have.
And they have, that's right.
Kane Williams can't follow up with a layup there, and so now Louisiana with the 1-point lead, trying to add to it.
See, Georgia State, they're talking on who they're going to take, trying to find guys to match up with.
Here's Wesley. Big time three for Trajan Wesley. And for Louisiana to respond and get the lead back says a lot about them. And they went on 17-0 run to start the second half, Georgia State.
Well, Georgia State down 11 at the half. We mentioned at the open that defense and rebounding would win this game. The last 3 minutes, the team that makes consecutive stops and cleans up the defensive glass is going to walk away with a win.
Here's Simons driving on Stroman, and there's the defensive play you mentioned. Gant with the block.
So much talent on each roster. A lot of points can be scored. Great three-point shooting teams. It's all about stops and cleaning up glass right now.
Wesley on the drive, lost the handle, but able to get it back. And then threw it off of Williams out of bounds. How about that?
That's his second heady play by the freshman. First time he was on the baseline, threw it out. They got a new possession. They got a three-point shot out of it. This time they keep possession. What a play by Wesley.
4 seconds to shoot. But Louisiana has it.
Look for Gant at the rim.
Gant coming out. And now a 3-try from the corner and a miss from Russell.
Gonna pick him up early.
Phillips driving on Miller, but lost a tire, and he travels.
Turnover, Cajuns ball.
Well, they had the isolation.
And for the Panthers,
They had the matchup that they loved. They had Phillips. He has the speed and quickness on Miller. He just slipped. Blew a tire, just like you said. I got the freshman running the point, Wesley. How about the confidence Bob Marlin showing in him?
Russell off on the 3. The rebound pinballs to Mitchell. Simons on the drive, and they call the blocking foul against Louisiana.
Simons just plays downhill in transition. That's where he thrives, in the open floor. He's a straight line driver, but he's got the Euro step. He's got the little wiggle in his dribble, the ability to change his pace, his speed. Creates fouls so well.
Well, Stroman now picks up his 4th foul, but he was trying to get Simons out of the game, and now on the missed free throw, Louisiana has it.
I'm Georgia State. I'm working on offensive rebounding from free throws.
And there's a steal. Simons with 4 fouls, able to get in there in the passing lane.
Yeah, sneaky on the baseline.
And now Mitchell is fouled.
That might have been Gant.
If they get Gant, that's going to be it. That is number 5 on Jakeenan Gant.
Let's take a look at this. 23 in the black. Well, that's a little baby bump. I mean, he's got to be able to move his feet or back up a little bit more.
Man, tough call.
I'm not blaming him for defending. It's hard to see from that angle how hard that bump was.
But that's it for Jakeenan Gant. His night is over as Mitchell knocks down the free throw.
$1:30 left. 4-point game. Incidental contact, play on.
Right. 25-point effort tonight from Jakeenan Gant. And this time Mitchell hits the free throws.
So now if you're Louisiana, who do you go to? Stroman may have to take over in the scoring department. And Wesley, the 2 guards. You always have Cedric Russell right there, 0 on the black from the outside. A very good 3-point shooter.
Here's Wesley from the logo, misses the 3. With 1:01 left. And now a foul call on Georgia State on the rebound. Jeff Thomas picking up the personal.
Team's 9.
Deep 3.
For the Cajuns, number 15, P.J. Hardy.
Yeah, Thomas, 2 hands on the back. That one was easy.
At the line,
so Stroman at the free throw line here, trying to extend Louisiana's 2-point lead. 1:01 left. Gets the roll. Well, that's what you expect at home, right? Around, and in.
That was a dead rim roll. That's what we call it. Hits the ball, dies. The ball hits the rim, dies, and goes in.
So Marcus Stroman calmly hits the 2 free throws. 4-point lead for the home team, Raging Cajuns.
It's a little different defensively right now. No shot blocker in the back for Gant. Georgia State, you can get to the rim and score right now.
Mitchell splits defenders, lays it in.
2 points, Devin Mitchell.
It's exactly my point. The shot blockers out of the game, the floor spread. Take advantage of the speed and quickness. And it's good because he can gamble without fouling in the front line. You just don't want him in the back line of the pressure where the offense is attacking at him.
Who do you want taking the shot for Louisiana?
The guy who's open. Without getting the game, it's a different offensive attack. I'll take Cedric Russell on the open 3 if I can get him.
Stroman into the paint. No! Ball loose. Georgia State's got it.
Great look by Stroman.
Shot clock and game clock about a second apart. Mitchell. No! Rebounded by Miller with half a second to go. And Louisiana is going to end Georgia State's winning streak at 6.
Georgia State down 2. They wanted to go for the win and go home. Didn't make it. Great rebound by Miller.
Miller with a great job to get in there and grab the rebound. And now the officials going over to check the clock.
Let's take a look when the ball goes through the net. I'm sorry, when the rebound is taken, the foul.
Yeah, there's going to be more time left, I think.
See the official on the baseline. His hand starts to go up right there.
Yeah, 1.3.
1-1-1-1-3.
Yep, they're putting 1-3 up there. Georgia State had won 6 straight games against the Louisiana Raging Cajuns, including on January 10th an 89-76 win in Atlanta. And now the Raging Cajuns trying to pull off the win here at home.
Now
Justin Miller.
Yeah, now Louisiana. First of all, putting that time back on the clock was big, but that free throw was bigger. So now if you're Louisiana, absolutely no fouls at all.
There it is.
Doesn't matter.
Keenan Gant, as you said it right, Paul. The last 2 minutes they play without him. Simons was able to stay in, but now Georgia State's going to be able to heave it, but as long as there's no foul, that's it. Miller volleys it out of bounds with 0.2 seconds left.
He spiked that baby. What a spike. Put him on a volleyball team.
Well, we saw Gant earlier with a little bit of a finesse spike into the basket. This time
he gets fist, yeah.
He just punches it out.
Right over our heads.
You were ready to catch that, right? So now they're going to put time back on the clock. They're saying fisting the basketball is a violation. And so now they put a second back on the clock.
Now Georgia State again, but just don't foul at all.
Simons misses the 3, and that's it. The Louisiana Raging Cajuns, a 76-72